Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a day has passed for you, but about 10 minutes has passed for me since filming yesterday's video. So it's technically still my birthday. So how's that for confusing? Remember I was stitching away at the end of the video and I had a bit of an idea, but I thought no, I just want to wait till the next video to play beads. So I finished the video using this thread and this thread for the stamens. So what I'm thinking is these little bumps and lumps that are in here that I can see need to be something a little bit bigger and more pronounced than what I can achieve with a French knot at the top, well, a pistol stitch, which has a colonial knot at the top. I think it's a colonial knot. I always get it mixed up. French knots, colonial knots, they are different, but in my world, they are a knot. So what I want to do is just drop a few extra pistol stitches in here, because when I left you last, I was putting in the crochet cotton in there. But I just need to drop a few little wool ones in there as well. I think it's gum nut yarn I'm using now. I'm sort of flipping between gum nut yarn and Appleton wool. Gum nut yarn is an Aussie company. They use merino wool from a sheep. Of course, you know that. That was a silly statement. But anyway, merino is the style or the breed of sheep that they use. So it makes it quite soft and it's just beautiful. Now, Appleton wool is English. So I'm sort of going to be flipping between the two. Now, I just want to get a few little stamens in here. Excuse me, I just finished my coffee and now that's going to give me a frog in the throat. Always does. Always makes me want to clear my throat. So I should try and have my coffee after I do my videos, just for the courtesy to you guys hearing me clear my throat. I do apologise, but I just have to have a coffee. I just have to have that to get me going. I've got a little bit more yarn left, so I'm just going to work along this bottom edge. So what I'm thinking is having a look through my beads and see if I can find some tones that suit and beading all that in there. So it's quite encrusted. This little stamen is quite, or that little section of the flower is quite bulbous, that ribbon embroidery we did back in the first video. So I know I can handle quite an incrustation in there. So that's my theory. But I do need to lay down some of this thread so that I can go for it and not be worried that I've then got to try and get knots in underneath all this. I wonder if I got one more knot. This thread's running out. Oh, maybe. So I can't give you an update on my birthday celebrations because technically it hasn't happened. You know, the other thing that came to my mind when I turned off the camera, having filmed the video you watched yesterday, was Roxy Creations Journal of Stitchery Project Volume 4 will be announced on Sunday. So by the time you're watching this, I'm pretty sure this video will be the Monday. Let me grab my calendar where I sort of try and have some form of plan for these videos. Let's have a little look. Yeah. Yeah. So very much so. We would know by now what the next project's going to be. Isn't that exciting? You know, the other thing I noticed in my little calendar, my little diary, Quilter's Companion diary, when I was programming my, you know, videos for the week, look who is here. Look, young Lisa Maddox. She is the lady that took us on the tour of France, and her business partner Lara Moo. Look at this. Isn't that just gorgeous? Pomegranates and poppies. How beautiful. Very, very, very pretty. Oh, look, I just went to open it. Look at that. See that instinct there? That's what you do on your phone when you, or your iPad, when you want to look in the detail. I went to, oh my goodness, I went to enlarge a printed picture. See, the old days, we used to have newspapers and magazines, and you'd never do that because it's a magazine or an image. Now we look at so much stuff on our phone. It's ridiculous. Who's next? June. Who's this lady? No, I can't say that. That's a tricky name. That's looks Italian. Don't know who that is. And who have we got here? The Tea Dance by Helen Draper. That's pretty too. If you are looking for a really cool diary, Quilter's Companion, it's brilliant because every page has a photo image of someone's embroidery from around the world. I think it is just the best little diary. So keep it in mind if you want a little notebook in your craft room. Now, I think we've got enough stitches down to warrant a play. Now let's go. What are we gonna do? These are the beads I had in mind. This guy. Now I do have, these are all the ones left from my Christmas project. Now I did the Roxy Christmas stitchery, and see, there's a little flowery one, and I did a champagne-y traditional blue project. I went to a bead shop here in Brisbane and bought a heap of these beads in blues. There's the other blue and the champagne, and that was the project colour scheme. So it dawned on me that they possibly would work. So let's have a play. We need thread. We need one of those nasty little beading needles that bite my fingers all the time. There we go. That one's not as bad as one of them. The one is like a straw needle, and oh my goodness. Seriously, it is just a horrible needle. If anything's going to do damage to the end of my finger. Yes, I should have a thimble, but I tend to only wear the thimble once the damage is done. That gives me a couple days for the damage to heal. All right, let's have a play. I have a feeling I could get away with a fairly big bead. This needle I picked up is really short, so it is not the best to use. Look at the size of this thing. I don't know why they even make them, but anyway, it's what I've got. It will suffice. We're not experts here where we must have the right needle size every time. We're not commercial. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I did even consider this sequin. So we want to do a mix, I think. Otherwise it'll look very bulbous. Hello, Bandit. Bandit's just looking in the window at me. So these are very flat. I don't think they're going to hold their own. What else have we got here? Maybe we could get away with a bit of this size. These here also, they're like a teardrop, but they're flat. I think I need something. Do we put a gold guy in? Or do we be a bit random and put a silver? Or we go with a amber. I think it's going to be the amber. And I might put some gold in amongst it. I think we'll keep it very warm tones. Yeah, I like that. This needle's going to annoy me. It's tiny. It's too little for my big fat fingers. I think I need a smaller bead again, to be honest. What could we do next? You know how it is. You've got to make a palaver out of all of this. Put them away. We don't want them. What about just a little gold guy? I think that'll soften it. How many stamens does this plant have? And this needle is not going to work. All right. Let's find that mean, nasty little straw needle. Where are you? It's so thin and I struggle to see it every time. There you are. It's got a nice long shaft on it to use. It's a great length. But oh. Okay, let's clear up. So I even have this dark little coppery guy. Maybe I should consider him. So he's interesting. Creates a different tone. Or do I go glamour? I think I need the dark one. The good thing about this little selection is see all the different sizes. All right, let's get rid of some of this mess. There's our colour range right there. I think it can handle the darker tone because finish your sentence, girl, because it can handle it. I might zoom you in so you can let me move this. Excuse me, there's my throat going again. Okay, so let's pick up. Yeah, I like these little brown guys because there's different sizes, so depending on where I am I can drift between them. So now I might put in a big one, a big bead. Excuse me. I don't have many of these little gold guys left. Might need to venture down to the bead shop. Oh, I wish I knew what the Roxy project's going to be for the second half of the year. I could be talking that through with you guys, but I guess patience. So if I put the big bead towards the center of the cluster and then underfill it or backfill it around that edge with the smaller beads, think that'll look pretty snazzy. So see how I've got, let me get myself comfortable. Excuse me. Goodness me. Now I'm going to just pick up some of these little brown guys. I just sneak them around the bottom. So they sort of look like they're an extension on the pistol stitch knots. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is looking good. Bit of glam on the piece. Now I think I could put in next to the big bead one of these amber beads next. Yep. It's going to be bead encrusted, this center of this flower. So down here, I might start right down there, or do I? I might need pistol stitches on that bottom edge in there, maybe another pistol stitch. So therefore I need to probably slide in there. I might have to actually get my thread going here for the pistol stitches again, because I feel like the edge of that piece needs another stitch. So I'm just stopping the beading for a minute, and I feel like I need to lay in here these little guys here. So there's 1, 2 and 3. They need some attention too. Maybe, oh I know, maybe we do a ribbon, like this ribbon comes down into there. So I need 2 stitches. That wasn't enough to fill that space. That's better. Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to end that off. Just needed that little bit of stitch there to fill it in. And I'm wondering, where'd that ribbon get to? There it is. Didn't think it was far. I think I need another needle. I think I'm going to ribbon into there. Oh gosh, now I'm heading off on a tangent. Now I technically need this colour in first. So you should do it in layers, and I'm jumping all over the place, which is just so typical. So I've got now 3, 4 things on the go, for goodness sakes. I could just hear my grandmother going, girl, focus on one thing at once. You're getting ahead of yourself. I can just hear her. But that's just the way the girl works. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to stitch in that little petal. It's because I feel confident that the beads are going to work that I've gone off here, and I just need to pop a little bit of this. Let's get that little beaded thread there up. I just need to get a few more little stitches in this little crevice here before I can't get in there due to the ribbon. I think this painting of flowers is a bit like that, but when you start really looking at the image that you're working on, you start to see more than you did when you first go, yes, that's my flower. You start to really notice what the artist has done with their layers of colour, and it makes it really interesting, I think. So I just need to get this burgundy down into that throat. Because I'm going to overlay, there's Pepper, there's their shenanigans. You guys must just about hear that every video. Once they've had their breakfast and they've had a trot around and checked out where all the possums may have crossed the paths of the lawn through the night, then it's playtime. And that'll last for about an hour. And then they climb back into bed for a little morning nap. Oh, to be a dog. Then they're up when they hear the hubby have his shower. They're up and they have another play, and then they're ready to join us for breakfast, where they just either sit and watch, or occasionally I invite them in and they might get the corner of a crust. It's a little bit of egg yolk. Depends if we have a sit-down breakfast or a, you know, race out the door breakfast. So there's my dark throat. I can't go too crazy with it because it would overpower the piece really quickly. I still feel like I need a little bit more through there as well. I'll end that off because otherwise I'm just going to be chatting away, and before I know I'm going to have too much. I have a feeling I'm going to work more of that in there through that petal. But anyway, now ribbon. I'm going to come up here and go down. I feel like I need, do I do it in one stitch or two? How? One. Let's keep it fine. Do I do it through the ribbon, you know, when you lay it down and you bring the stitch back through like that? Do I do it like that, or do I just go straight through? What do I do? What do I do? Am I overthinking it? Probably. I think I'm just going to go straight in like I did up here. Don't go and change the stitch. I can hear my grandmother. Oh, yes. Oh, love it. You know what would look really cool? Is a couple more so it looks soft in there, and I'll stay within them. Oh, careful. Look at that. Oh, that was nearly 1,000 beads everywhere. Oh my goodness. See, Grandma was right. Finish one task at a time. I'm going to do a few of these little feathery ribbon. I should have. Now it's twisted. Come on. That's got it. Just to soften that. One more. One more. Why not? This is a very fancy plant, isn't it? With this very fancy flower. Just a twist in the right direction. Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's just finish that off. I should have cut a piece of thread ribbon off and not attempted to do it in one big long piece, but the girl couldn't wait. Did I mention bulleted gate? Okay, snip. Put the ribbon in the little box. That's definitely in play. There we go. So we've got these little cute little extra layers of bits coming out, and that was inspired by this. And I think when I get over to this side, because the flower is at that angle, I'll be really able to scoot out here with a few more, I think. Okay, we've got a plan. Let's get back to the beading. Get this nasty little needle. I'm going to call this needle Reginald. He is a needle with attitude, and I'm going to say Reginald, my little beading needle, is in play. Now, what size do I go out there? Maybe I go a brown guy, but a decent size. Yep. Because I sort of want to get that soft edge. So I've got a spot here. You know what I really could do with is a smaller version of this crystal-y one. But I don't think I own that. No, I don't think I did. I know the blue ones, I got lots of sizes. I wonder if that could be. No. Now, if I mix too many more colours into this, we're not going to see them. Like, you sort of get to a point where you've put all this energy into mixing it up with colours and textures, and then you just don't really notice the detail that you've put so much time and energy into. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Now, being that the front edge is closest to us, we can use fairly big lumpy beads. But as we get further away from us, we could probably need to go a little bit smaller, I'm thinking. But I'm probably overthinking it. What I might do is I'm going to place my big guys in, then backfill it with the little fellas. Am I even on camera? Probably not. I don't think I can get away with a big fellow in here, or maybe I can. What the hang, let's do it. Stop overthinking it. Let's put a random big guy back there. Yep, it'll handle it. What a glamorous plant. This plant has some very glamorous flowers. Now, these beads have a dull side and a shiny side, so I'm just making time just to twist the bead as well. So I might put another amber. Let's get these beads out of my way. Another amber one in next. it's coming together nicely. I'm going to put a little guy down in there. Another one. Having the 3 different sizes really helps break it up a little bit. It doesn't look so, I don't know, uniformed. The plants in nature are very random. Well, look, you say that, but then you see some that are just so particular in the way they've placed the stamen and the petal, and then the next one's the same and the next one. So I guess maybe nature's not that random. Maybe nature is very, very well thought out. Doesn't mean my stitching is. Oops, I'm dropping. Yeah, that's good. I might just be able to squeeze one more big guy in. Pick him up if I can. Oh, I need to get back to that bead shop. The bead shop's in Brisbane in a suburb called Browns Plains. I think it's all about beads or something. I'll have to look it up. And it's just the best place. It's like walking into a candy shop. Where's the center of that bead? Might be time for a little road trip down to it, I think. Going to drift a couple of these little brown ones down into the stitching of the pistol stitch, just so that it looks like it softens that edge of beads instead of it being so, yeah, that's better. Now I've got a little spot over here that can handle some beads, so we might just pop it. No, I won't do another amber, there's already one there. I might do a large brown one. I haven't done one of those. I think that, oh, there's one there already. That's okay. If I put a little guy next to it, just to break it up. Oh, I'm glad I chose that browny, coppery tone. It really looks good. I don't know what you guys think looking at the camera. Just glancing up, yeah, no, that's really good. Very encrusted. Yes, 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 yes. I can hear a dog squealing. Like someone's hurt. I wonder if it's the puppy next door. It's not my two. It's like a high-pitched squeal for a second there. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yes, you pretty, pretty thing. Let's see if that lace still looks good. That's all stitched in. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. That's going to be really good. Now, we've worked out our beads, so I'm going to close them up because I need to work more pistol stitch in there before I get too carried away. What I haven't yet worked out is up in here. Now this is where the whole bead thing popped into my mind. See these little patches? I thought of maybe bringing in a bead up there. Now my go-to would be that one or this one. So let's have a play, because I feel like the petals could handle some beads as well. If we can nut out that, like I'd be tempted to bead this little area around, but you'd have to have the beads all in a row, and I don't know, don't think it'd look right. So let's have a play. I don't think there's any others here that would, could probably get away with. Nope. I have more beads. Oh, look, there's another colour. No. I have plenty more beads, but these tend to be my go-to favourites. So I'll put those guys in my little homework pot. Let's attach that lace before it gets lost. Let's put this tag on here before I lose the colour. Okay. Right. Let's just lay down a couple in there. I do like the idea of this pink one. Yeah, yep. Let's put a few on my little mat and have a little stitch. Oh, I can hear Pepper. At least the street has plenty of dogs in it, and Pepper's not being obnoxious to everyone, because they're all yabbering to each other. And it's because her and Bandit are running around like idiots that she gets all wound up. He's not as woofy. I'm thinking I can handle an incrustation of pink beads on this flower, like right through here. This real pale, imagine that all beaded down here. Oh, we'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, girl. Yeah. What do you think, guys? Just a little bit of pink sparkle. I know some of you comment that you're not a lover of beading because it just takes so long, but I don't know, give it a go, because there's something very therapeutic about it, because it does take time, but it really makes your work come alive. So don't write it off. And beads, if you hunt around a bit, you can pick up all sorts of beads, and they don't have to be expensive beads. You know, I know a lot of the Chinese cheap ones are all different sizes, but that's not a real problem for us in needlework. I think I want to ensure that they stand on their edge. I don't really want to see the opening or the center of the bead. My line, I'm getting a bit of a lineal line thing happening there, so I need to mix it up a little bit. That'll happen. I can always come back through with my thread and apply a few stitches in there as well, just to I worked out what I'm going to do for my birthday. I said to my husband it's going to be the Fleur Woods course. She hasn't announced it yet. She does this big intake twice a year is how I understand it. Rachel and a few of you girls that watch my channel were in it for the first half of the year, and the second half of the year she'll run it again, and it's where you do a really big piece, and I believe you can all Zoom connect in, or however the way is she wants us to all connect. So I said to my husband, that's what I'm going to do, because it's, you know, not a cheap endeavour, but I think you're going to get a lot out of it. So that's what I'm going to get for my birthday, a course. Okay. What I might do is I'll put the link to it in the description of this video, because I've mentioned it a couple times and I haven't yet put a description or a link. So there might be someone out there that wants to play with painting flowers, so to speak, and doing a Fleur Wood course. I think will give us a lot of the basics that, you know, I may not have come across yet, and I just know it's going to give us some new ways of approaching thread and the way you lay them down. She does this gorgeous basket weaving. I've had a little play with it before, but not to the degree she does. So I'm really interested to learn those techniques. I think they'll be very interesting. It's always good to be able to add new stitches to your repertoire. So I'm sort of scooting down this petal in a bit of an angle. I sort of feel like it's a shard of light there. So I'm trying to mirror the flow of that petal and it not be just a big block, and have a few little gaps. And I guess the question is, do I fill that in with another colour of thread, or do I have a look at that cream bead and see if we... So I want those beads to stand on their end. There we go. Or do I maybe could do some French knots? So I'm talking about... Hang on, let me get this little guy knotted down. I'm talking about this region here, and even through there, it's nearly like a bit of light is bouncing on that side. So I might just... What am I going to do next? I'm just going to sneak up here with the needle let's just have a look at these guys. I like the fact that they're the colour that the ribbon is. So I'm wondering if I can drop a few in here. Oh yeah. Because they pick up on the colour of that ribbon. But I don't think you'd want many. I don't think you want it to get too much, but it could handle just the little detail. The other thing is I'm wondering if I could pop a few French knots of something in amongst this cluster. We'll call it the little beady cluster, which will appear throughout the whole piece in various spots. It's where I want the light to bounce. Yeah. I think I can handle one more down here. It's like the glint in your eye. That's what these little cream beads are all about. Now, I feel like I need another texture in there just to finish the glint. Let's put that stitch away. Do I have a tiny version of it? Oh, I've got a gold. So I have this little guy. I sort of feel like I've got a smaller version of him somewhere. What's that fellow? That's that fellow. So same. I wonder if this guy, see, he's more of a matte. You see the difference? I'm wondering if this might work. It'll take the shine off of the piece. Like we've got very glossy there. And I'm wondering if this little fellow, and he's a lot smaller. Oops, how do we come up? I've got to come up. It'll either look dowdy or it'll tone it down. Or are we even going to notice it? What I do like is the size of him. Plus it just gives me another option that if there's a spot that doesn't need as much pink or shimmer, I can pop in a few of these little fellows. So I'm sort of liking the size, probably more so than even the colour it's going to give me, because that's blended. You'd have to have a good eye to see that there's even a colour difference there, but that's okay. It gives me a little piece. So I think he is going to work. Let's put the lid on that before I have beads everywhere. So there's 3 of them. One's real cream, one's a pinky cream. Let me just put that into there. Yeah, it's going to work a treat. It's subtle, but it's the size that's helping me. I'm getting a lot more softness to the cluster of beads because I have this little guy. And he'll be good just to do little random placements. And he's within the family of colour. So he's too far over that edge. I need to unpick him. He's sort of sitting on the outside of my petal, and it is ever so slight, but he's definitely on the outside of it. get him back. Well, I feel like I've got a plan of attack now. I know what I'm doing with my threads. I know what I'm doing with the highlight beads. I've managed to work beads into the petals as well, so that's a bit of a bonus. Girl can never have enough beads. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really going to glamorize it up. So I'll be able to work. I'm going to just bring, how are we going for time? Oh, we got plenty of time. I'm just going to bring my needle and thread up to that point. And because it's the tiniest of little hints of light up there, I'm just going to bring the needle up and pick up these little fellas, and I'm just going to stitch just one or two up there. I think that will look really good. My thread's getting small, so I've got to concentrate now on making sure it doesn't pull out. Just going to I want it to be turned around a little bit more. Oh, come on. One, maybe another one there. So this is like just a little hint. Of colour. The beads just aren't sitting right. I want them to be more on that angle. Yep, that's better. That's better. Who would have thought so much thought could go into the placement of one bead? It's crazy, isn't it? That's it. So it's just a little speck. I'm going to put one more in there. I might go to the bigger, shinier one. Yep. That's it. That's it. I was just looking down to that leaf down here. Look at these red dots. They've got potential. I don't own any beads that are in this colour tone. Like the red. I should finish my sentence. You're thinking, what the heck is she talking about? There we go. Done. There we go. Look at that. I'm really happy with that, guys. The only other thing I'd say about that pink is if I could pop maybe a couple of the creams in amongst it, just to break it up on that edge. Like, I'm being finicky, but if I just place those couple there, I can see that it sort of looks like it's a bit more tonal and not such a blob of colour. Yeah, you're probably going, oh girl, crazy girl. How long have we got? We got 5 minutes. I'm going to rethread with a nice long piece of cotton again. I wonder what red beads I've got. And do I have a red, as in burgundy red? I don't think so. I've got that Christmas red. So I'm just going to put 3 of the little, we'll call them matte coloured beads, down this inner edge of the pink. Just do a couple stitches first to get myself anchored in. Can't pick him up. Now, just tuck him in, right in amongst those pinks. I'll just soften the line of him a little bit, I think. Probably overthinking it, and I probably don't really need it. And at a glance, you wouldn't even notice. But once I see it, I can't unsee it. There we go. And I'll put a third one down here. Yep. And I've got a little bit of a gap in here which needs more wool. So I'll need to correct that too, finish that I mean, before it gets forgotten. Okay, so I'm going to end that off. Should probably do another knot. Beads tend to come undone, and it pays to just do those extra few knots to make sure it doesn't. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's good. So we're really dragging a bit of glamour now onto the piece. Yeah, happy with that. So I might just grab, how are we going for time? Oh, we're nearly there. I really need this needle to do that little bit of pink in there. So I might just do one more pistol stitch down here. And then I can have the needle. Looks like I'll get 2. Will I get another one? I reckon I might. Okay. All right. Will I get another one? Why not? Why not? Round. No. Now I've come unthreaded. See, I'm just trying to get that last little bit out of the thread. I'll get it. Come on. Yep. Beauty. Okay. Scissors. I need this thread again. Where's the end? Double. You can hear that puppy. That's who was squealing. He's got really excited and he squealed. It's a different sound to my guys. So I'm just going to pop in there. Oh, come on. Don't knot up. Just going to go back in there. Bit of that soft pink. I'll sneak up into the beads a little bit. That's all it needed, was just those 2 stitches. Oh, it might need 3. Oh, come on. See, I'm rushing. The moment I start rushing, it goes pear-shaped. It's no rush. What's an extra minute or 2? See what I mean? This yarn is really... it's catching on itself, so it's creating... oh, don't you break. I wonder if it's because it's old. I feel like it's... I feel like it's delicate. Something's gone wrong with my knot, I think. I think that's what it is. I need to take a breath. Yeah, that's where it went wrong. When I first started. That's got it. Now I need to find... when you're using a double thread, you've got to make sure everything's seated right. Oh my goodness. You know what I'll be doing after the camera goes off? I'll be most likely sitting here for 20 minutes trying to save an inch of wool. It's this little guy here. It's just not moving. I'd say I've split the thread. Is it saving? Can I save it? It's just not moving like it should. And that is so thin there. I'm heading for trouble. I'm heading for trouble. Why won't this move at all? Oh, guys. Like, seriously, we're starting again. How pear-shaped did that go? I think I split the thread. I think that's what's happened. And it's got really thin there. So in an effort to save, oh, can I save? Oh, for goodness sake. That feels secure. That's not. So I'm going to embed that. See, there it goes again. Must be just a weak spot. I know it's getting very thick, so I'm sort of stitching through a lot of layers, and this stuff is delicate. It's not going to enjoy it. I can see where the thread is thin. See that there? That's really thin. So I might need to knot past that. Now this here, yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's knot that off. we saved it without having to unpick it. It would have been a nightmare to unpick because this is like the third layer of stitching in that zone. So there's no clear spot to see what's going on the back. Oh, I've gone over time. All right, guys, I better go. I think I've got a plan. So I'll carry on stitching and I will see you all in the next video. Let's just put the needle up here. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Bye for now. See ya.